welcome back. We had a little short 2-week break, but now we're here back again with the Happiness Incorporated podcast. I'm here with Jacob. Jacob, lovely
nice
to meet you, man.
Gunnar.
So, Jacob, tell something about yourself. Who are you and what are you here to do?
Well, I'm here to present the Tour de Rebelle to you. The Tour de Rebelle is a moving movement of the movements on bike around the globe. I'm gonna come back to that later. First, I'm introducing myself. I was a football coach for many years in Germany, in the Netherlands. Also, I didn't tell you about it as well, but I was also a coach in the Caribbean and in Iran. And
coach, as in like football?
A football coach.
Oh, okay.
As a football coach,
right.
Yeah, all the time as a football coach. And I was always football passionate about and played football for many years. At some point, I realized, okay, I want to become a football coach. That is something which is much more like my passion, because you have more responsibility, you can add more your own work into the team and to the project. So I became a football coach, and at some point I wanted to specialize myself, because I haven't been a professional football player, and I thought, okay, how can I add something special to my curriculum? And I had a good chat with a kind of important guy to me. And in the end of the talk, I decided it's really, really nice if I would study psychology, because psychology is a good specific add-on as a football coach, because you could need it in so many different opportunities and ways.
Absolutely, because you're working with people, you know.
Exactly.
It's so important.
Exactly, and you work with people in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You work with groups, you work with individuals, you work with parents, you work with the press, you work with... It's needed everywhere. However, it wasn't possible to study in Germany because my school diploma wasn't good enough to study psychology in Germany.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to another country, and I had several opportunities like Austria, England, and the Netherlands. I ended up in the Netherlands applying for many football clubs there to work there.
So which one did you work for, by the way, like if I'm out?
I come to that later.
Okay, right on.
So I applied for many football clubs and tried, okay, where can I study psychology and where can I work as a football coach? In the end, I ended up in Enschede, where I could study psychology and I could work for FC Twente. So I worked for FC Twente for, let's say 2.5 years. I worked later for them again, but in between I worked for another academy, which were like an organization to try to educate coaches all over the world.
Yeah.
And with this organization, I got the opportunity to go to the Caribbean, for example, and work there as a football coach with a football project to promote gender equality in the Caribbean.
Okay.
At some point I realized, okay, I really would like to see more of the world, but got more sucked into the topic of climate change and climate emergency. And I decided for myself, okay, I can't do my job as a football coach anymore, because climate change is much more important for society than football is. I mean, I was always thinking, okay, as a football coach, I can add something positive to society. I can help children realizing their dreams. I can promote social interaction skills. And at some point I thought, okay, that's just not good enough anymore for me. I need to do something more important, because climate change is much more important than teaching social skills via football. In the end, I ended up quitting my study. I finished my bachelor in psychology, but I decided that a master's is not what I'm going to do, because with a master's right now, in this state of time, I would waste a lot of time with studying instead of being active actually. So I decided to become more active within the climate movement, and
that's what your organization is about. So you guys go around Europe with bikes.
Yeah.
And then you have seminars, you do podcasts around to spread the message, if I got that right.
Yeah, that's part of it. Actually, that's the first aim of the project Tour de Rebelle, is to share the skills I have regarding climate change and spread information regarding climate change. But I'm also aware of the fact that I don't know everything.
Can we just really like go into the specifics then? Like,
Yeah.
what is the things what you do? Like, do you raise funds as well? What was the first main goal what you're trying to tackle? Because like going into like, okay, we are an organization that's basically does good for the climate, but like it's a very, very big and broad problem. Like, I'm sure that can't be done with one easy solution. So like, is there anything specific where you guys like dive into?
It's really difficult to specify it, because there are so many different aims, and if you put it into a framework of this is a specific aim, I would lose all the other aims which are just as important as well. However, the first aim was to spread information regarding climate change, because from my point of view, what I realized is that many people are aware of climate change but are not really aware of climate change. So they read something in the newspapers, they see something on TV, but they cannot relate to the topic. And I realized that when I was talking to people regarding climate change, I could put them into a different perspective regarding the urgency and the difficulty and the importance of the whole topic, but also put it just into look at the problem from a different perspective, which isn't. And you have a dialogue with people. You have a face-to-face dialogue with people, which is more a flowing thing than a newspaper or a TV, in which you receive information, but there's no interaction. And I want to give this the opportunity for interaction for people I meet on the way. So the direct contact. Going then to the second aim was, okay, I want to connect people with each other, because I see many climate movements working there, and everybody's cooking their own soup, as you would say in German. The problem is they have skills to share, they have knowledge to share, they have experiences they made in the past few months, which are important to exchange to develop further.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, it would be really awesome to connect people with each other by cycling from A to B, and they get to know each other. And on the way, you can inform people, you network, and on bike you experience an adventure.
And it's good for the environment as well.
And it's ecological traveling. It's good for the environment. It's the second best option to travel, I would say. The first best option would say, okay, I just walk. However, biking is just practical. You can get from A to B, ecological, and really quick.
Oh yeah.
It's not as quick as flying, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen like in the Netherlands, like we have a saying like when we move, we don't need a moving truck, we just need a bike. I've seen people, I'm not joking, couch, put on the bike, and then just go from place A to place B, man. There's so much you can do with a bike.
Exactly. In the Netherlands, it's normal. In Germany, it's not. And that's something which I realized, that I want to be a role model with a group of people. We are cycling together, a role model to people. It's possible to get from A to B, also in Germany.
Yeah.
It's possible all over the globe to get from A to B by bicycle. It's much nicer because you are in fresh air, you're moving, and you can do it slowly. You don't have to be as quick as a sport athlete person. You can just cycle normal from A to B and experience an adventure, ecological, and show people that it's just really nice to cycle slowly, to travel slowly.
It's I really like the idea. Like, I can imagine you going to companies, organizations, and just inviting people to go on a bike together.
Exactly.
You see like those little trips, like what they have like in other corporations, where they would go to a bar, and just have a few beers. Your solution is like to connect organization A and organization B and just share knowledge. That's a brilliant idea. It's just like I would say like it would be very. Is it very tricky to get people involved and motivated to do so? Because getting people to move is tricky, I would say. How's your experience with that?
That's a really interesting point, because as soon as I start talking to people, I realize that there are so many boundaries they think, oh, I have to cycle 100 kilometers per day. And I'm like, no, dude, the past 2 months, I cycled only 15 days. The rest of the days, I just hang out with the people I meet.
Yeah.
And I haven't cycled 100 kilometers every day. I cycle 70, 40 kilometers and take my time. I take breaks. And that's the first boundary. People think they have to cycle a lot. Furthermore, they think it's only about cycling. However, it's also about the organization locally, because when I arrive with people at some places, some things has to be arranged, like spots where we can talk to people, where we can meet each other, where people can sleep. So there are organizational things which have to be done beside just cycling. So when I talk to people, it's really easy to destroy the boundaries and show them there's so many different ways in which you can support or be part of it. For example, this is also being part of it, because promoting the thing is also really important. So when I talk to people, it's easy to get them involved. However, it's difficult via not face-to-face contact, which underlines the whole thing. Face-to-face contact is essential to get connections with each other and to spread information.
Absolutely, like these days we're so much hidden behind a computer screen, you know, like being on Facebook, being on Instagram, instead of like communicating with each other. Like you see it so often. As soon as silence is there, like if you're at a bar and like we don't know what to talk about, like normally like people would just, I don't know, like it is a skill, the conversation, to keep the conversation going, of course, but at that point you see people just grabbing their phones, just mindlessly browsing, you know, it's silly. And I mean, I really applaud your idea. Remind me again, how was your organization called? So people...
Tour de Rebelle.
Tour de Rebelle. Do you guys have Facebook?
Yeah, we're building...
I just said like, okay, like, oh, it's bad, but like...
But that's
how do you reach you people? That's what I mean.
Yeah, well, you can reach us via Facebook, via Instagram. We have those channels because we want to reach all the people from different angles, and we're building now a website which is called Tour de Rebelle, and then we will see what is the name, the web address. However, you can reach us via email, tour.de.rebelle@gmail, via Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. What more? Twitter. We also have a new, which is called Mastodon, which is basically the same as Twitter, but more like open source and not private. So there are different ways to reach us. Just send us a message and get in touch with us.
Awesome. What are you guys' future plans for Tour de Rebelle?
Future plans.
What is for you? Like, let's go like two questions. So one is like, where do you want the world, the climate to be in 10 years, and what are your plans right now for Tour de Rebelle?
Okay, first I will respond to the more in the future lying vision regarding the climate. My vision would be that we could live in a sustainable world where we can where transportation is sustainable. I don't want to go too specific into details what my solutions would be, because there's no time for that, but cycling is definitely an option to get from A to B.
Passionate about cycling.
Definitely, as a practical thing as well.
Yeah.
I've never done cycling tours in the past. That was not my passion to cycle for many weeks. It's just practical.
Yeah.
So my vision would be the climate to be more stable as it is right now, to improve the climate, get a lot of, to improve also the environment regarding pollution, regarding plastic and such things. So that would be like in 10 years, a sustainable world where people in general all over the globe can live more sustainable. I hope that it's still possible. I think there's a tiny chance to get there. So the future plans for Tour de Rebelle is to try to create awareness regarding the topic, networking and experience and adventure. And the vision for that would be many thousands of people cycling together through Europe and then ultimately around the world. And now we have aims to go to Berlin in May to the next Rebellion Week of Extinction Rebellion, and cycle then further to Brussels, where in June will be a next Rebellion wave. And then the next aim in 2020 will be Glasgow in November, the COP26, where the climate conference will be.
Awesome.
So those are the plans for 2020, and the vision is many thousands of people, but I would not say that's a plan to cycle with thousands of people, because a plan most of the time, it's difficult to reach plans, and in the end you might get frustrated if it's not working out.
Oh yeah, I understand.
But a vision to cycle with many thousands of people, that will be a vision for the next weeks and months, to create a group of people who can promote such things.
Man, I say just shoot for the stars, man. Dream big. Is there one final thing you would like to say to the audience? Some advice you want to give the viewer? Something about yourself? Something you want to promote? It can be anything, really.
Okay, is there something I can give as an advice? I actually do not care that much whether... No, that's wrong. I really care that you join the Tour de Rebelle. I would love you to join the Tour de Rebelle. However, become active anyway. Doesn't matter whether it's Tour de Rebelle or any other organization, just become active. Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, guys, tune in next week for another episode of the Happiness Inc.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.